Jillian Tate, and I'm the Clinical Manager at the Lifestyle Medicine Center. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to implement lifestyle medicine in the lives of your children. I have my helper today.
My name is Jackson. I am 6 years old.
This is my 6-year-old son, Jackson. I also have a 3-year-old little boy named Maddox. He was going to do this with me, but it's already gotten sidetracked and is doing something else. And I have a 1-year-old little girl named Quinn. I try to really form a strong foundation in my children's lives so that they're not having to work to reverse disease when they're older. A lot of times whenever we think of lifestyle medicine, we think of reversal of chronic diseases like diabetes, heart failure, heart disease, and things of those nature. My goal is to teach my children what is good for their bodies and what is not good for their bodies, and they can use that knowledge to make decisions on their own. They are not 100% all of the time. They do have things at school, at daycare, at parties, even at home sometimes, but the majority of their life they are making these good decisions. We're providing them with nutrient-dense foods and teaching them behaviors that are going to help manage their stress and help them form strong relationships. Lifestyle medicine focuses on 6 pillars. That's nutrition, physical activity, sleep, stress management, forming healthy relationships, and avoiding risky substances. All of those can be taught to our children in different ways depending on their ages. First of all, we're going to start with nutrition. That is a huge one for our children. Diabetes rates are climbing alarmingly fast in our children. And so by teaching them what is fueling their body properly and what is hurting their body can really help to form a foundation and keep them from forming these chronic diseases such as diabetes. So first, you want to make a smoothie?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to show you how to make a smoothie and then how to turn the leftover smoothie into popsicles. So first of all, we are going to start by adding fruit. We use different fruit, just whatever we have in our freezer at that time. Today we're going to be using blueberries, cherries, pineapples, strawberries, and we have these peaches that we actually got from Fredericksburg this summer, and we froze them at the peak of their ripeness, so we're really excited to use these today. So let's put some of those in, but not all of them. These are a little hard.
You just want to add a little.
Okay, there we go. We got a big chunk off. Can you put that chunk in?
You're about to only have this much.
It doesn't matter how much, bud. Okay, so add some blueberries as well.
You can add how many blueberries as you want.
Let's pour some in, okay? There we go.
You can add how much as you want.
We've got some pineapple. Can you add the pineapple in?
Pineapple done.
Uh-oh.
You can add how much pineapple if you want.
Is that good?
You can add any kind of more strawberries if you want. You can add more.
Put the cherries in. Awesome. And then for our secret ingredient, we're going to add some spinach. Sometimes I use fresh, sometimes I use frozen. We can use kale. You can even throw some broccoli in. I've done that before and they haven't cared. So can we sprinkle some spinach in?
Spinach is the best.
Okay. And then we will throw in some water. Juice. This is water. You can add juice though. It's better to do water though because you're not adding all the extra sugar. The fruit has plenty of sugar in it already. And then we're going to add some non-dairy yogurt. This is a plain flavor. You have to be really careful with these because a lot of them have a lot of added sugars in them. So it's really important that you read the label. And then depending on what kind you get, they can have a lot of fat in them as well. The yogurt is not necessary. It's just something that I like to add. They enjoy it. And this is where you can get creative. You can add oats in, you can add flaxseed, you can put all sorts of things in these smoothies. So I think we might need some more water.
This is how you make it taste really delicious. And it can taste really good and it can be good for your organs.
buddy, you wanna try it? You still have that pineapple in your mouth. You can wait just a second. Okay, so I will typically give that to all 3 of my children and then use what's extra and put it into one of my popsicle molds. So I just spoon this in. Is it good? You can't even taste the spinach, can you? Yeah, you can, or no, you can't? No? Okay. Okay, and so I just put it in like that, put this on and stick it in the freezer, and then they have popsicles for next time we're outside and they're wanting something cold. These popsicles we have in here have already been frozen, and what we did with these is we let the kids cut up fruit that they wanted, and then we kind of mashed it a little bit so that there were juices, and put that into the popsicle mold, and then filled it with water. Is that good? And so they have these ones a lot too. So that's 2 different types of popsicles that you can make, as well as a smoothie. Okay, Jackson, what is healthier for your body? The kind of popsicle that we make by ourselves with just fruit and water, or the popsicles at the store with all the sugar and all the dyes and stuff in them?
The fruit one.
Which ones taste better?
The fruit.
Yeah. Okay, so next we're going to make a vegan macaroni and cheese. So I have some water boiling on the stove back here, so I'm going to go ahead and toss in 16 ounces of whole wheat elbow macaroni. So I'm just going to let that cook according to the package, so it's going to go for about 6.5 minutes. And so Jackson and I are going to add everything else into a blender and blend it. So let me grab a couple of ingredients. So we're going to get some nutritional yeast. I have that out already. I've got 1.5 cups of raw, non-salted cashews soaking. They've been soaking for about 2 hours. This just helps them blend into a creamier sauce. And then I'm also going to get lemon juice, water, chili powder, garlic, turmeric, and cayenne. I'm not going to use the cayenne pepper though because my kids are really sensitive to spice, and then mustard, and we're going to blend that all together. Okay, so now our noodles are already done, so I'm going to take those off and drain them. And Jackson and I are going to make the sauce. So we are going to take, in here we have 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/2 clove of garlic, we did a little bit extra, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and oh, we forgot 1/2 teaspoon of mustard. So we're just going to use yellow mustard. So we're just going to do a little bit of that. And we are going to pour that into our blending cup, along with 3/4 cup of water. No, we don't need the lemon in there. Oh, we do. We do need lemon in there. Hold on, I'll put that in just, not that. Okay, that's good. And then we have 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. And then we are going to do our cashews, so we're going to drain these. And we're going to put them into our cup. We're going to blend that up.
I do it.
You have to use this one. This one. Nice creamy cheese sauce. So I'm going to put the pasta back into the hot pan.
It's actually spaghetti.
And then we're going to get our cheese sauce.
Ooh, that sounds good. Well, I like that.
And then pour it over the top.
It's a new thing to try.
And then mix it all together. All right, and then we will put it into a bowl. And then Jackson's gonna taste it for us. All right, Jackson, you ready to taste it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully I like it.
You will. Okay.
That's good.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So that's our vegan macaroni and cheese. Okay, so the last recipe that we're gonna do today is baked apples. I'm actually gonna saute them on the stovetop, so I guess they're not technically baked. But these are going to be similar to like the inside of an apple pie. You can even do them whole and stuff them with some oats and make them more of a breakfast food. Like everything else, it's another thing that you can kind of play around with. So I'm going to have my helper Jackson help me cut up some of these apples. We're just going to take 5 to 6 apples. We don't need any butter or anything like that. You can squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on top and then add as much cinnamon as you'd like and just saute them down until they're nice and soft. But before we get started on that, I wanted to touch on a couple of things. I want everybody to have realistic expectations and to not feel discouraged when their children aren't wanting to start trying new foods and things. It's very common for children to be very stubborn, especially if they've been eating chicken nuggets and ice cream their entire life. You can't just give them a plant-based meal and expect them to accept it open arms. It's not going to happen realistically. So just start by adding in an extra fruit or an extra vegetable on their plate at each meal. I make sure that my children get vegetables at every meal. Whether or not they touch them or it's something that I know they don't really like, I still give it to them because if they see it on their plate over and over again and they're continually exposed to it, they're more likely to try it. So that's one rule. And then we have this plant-based plate for children, and I'm going to be posting, you guys will see this on Thursday, I'm filming this over the weekend, so this week I'll be posting different informational flyers and things like that that specifically applies to children. So we'll talk about the calcium myth, we'll talk about the protein myth, we'll talk about building a plant-based plate, and then fun things to do. So you want a child's plate to be half full of fruits and vegetables. You're going to want 1/4 to be plant proteins, and that's going to be things like legumes, nuts. You want to limit the nuts and seeds, nut butters, tofu, tempeh, soybeans, black beans, pinto beans, things like that. And then the other 1/4 of your plate is going to be whole grains. That could be whole wheat pasta, that could be whole grain rice, brown rice, whole grain bread, things like that. And then obviously it's not always going to be like this. So if you were to give your child a sandwich, you would give them a slice of bread, so that's going to be whole grains, and then you could put some hummus on it, which would get you some of your plant protein, and then you could fill it full of different vegetables and then put some fruit on the side. So another thing that's kind of fun for kids is this superfood scavenger hunt. So this lists common foods. We've got garlic on here, corn, beans, and the idea is that your child is going to help you in the grocery store to find these items. And so I find that children are more likely to eat things that they help prepare in the kitchen. So Jackson helped me prepare that macaroni and cheese. He was excited to taste it. And then if they're even adding that other element of finding it at the grocery store, they feel ownership of this food and it makes them a little bit more excited. So with that being said, you want to help me cut up some apples?
Yeah.
I want you to dice these, stand up straight. I want you to dice these, okay, into like squares, okay? Okay, so a little bit about my children, just to kind of give you a little bit of reality. I don't have kids that just eat whatever, do whatever I ask. That's not what happens in our house at all. Jackson, he's my 6-year-old, and he was born before we had truly developed a healthier lifestyle. We have always been conscious of what we've eaten, but we haven't been in the world of whole food plant-based and all things like that. So he was my child that had whole milk. He had chicken nuggets all the time. He had macaroni and cheese all the time, all of those sorts of things. He was very picky as a baby, and I gave in to him early, and he got all of those unhealthy foods. I've been lucky that he has always liked fruits and vegetables, and so it is good that he has always got that variety. Now as he's gotten older, he has been very open to learning about what's healthy for his body. He wants to make his body strong and make himself faster. He's a baseball player, so he wants to eat things that are going to make him perform better. So that's really nice. My middle son Maddox is 3, and he has been raised eating a really healthy diet. He has never had whole milk. He doesn't really eat anything with dairy. He loves his fruits, loves his vegetables. He is 3, so I am dealing with the picky stage and him trying to assert his dominance and say that he doesn't want to eat something. So we do deal with all of those same normal behaviors. He still gets offered what we give him, and then we go from there. And then my 1-year-old daughter, Quinn, she has been in the height of me and my whole food plant-based journey. So she only eats plants pretty much. So we're hoping that she's going to be a little bit less picky as opposed to the boys, but we'll see. You never really know. But you want to put your apples in here?
Look, Mom, I saw them made.
Ooh, that looks awesome, bud. Can you put your apples in? So I'm not naive to the fact that children can be challenging and that nutrition can really be hard when dealing with children. They don't always eat what we want them to, and that's okay. All we have to do is teach them about what is good for them, and as they get older, they're going to learn and they're going to be more willing to make good choices.
Can I put it on this tray?
Yeah.
Oh, I need that.
Okay, you want on there? And then, here we go. Good job. All right, I'll give you these ones too. Here, you want to put it on this one? About that?
No.
Here, can I do that? What do you want to say?
I can't wait to try this.
You can't wait to try it? You can say it loud so the camera can hear you.
I can't wait to try that.
I promise I didn't rehearse what he's supposed to say. He's just really excited.
Squeeze it?
Yeah, we have to, here, I'm gonna hold my hand over though, so that we don't get the seeds in, okay? So squeeze it real hard, really hard.
Oh, no.
Here, I'll hold it stable for you and then you squeeze. You get in there and squeeze it? All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, big squeeze.
Oh, that's seeds.
Yeah, see, that's the reason why I stick my hand there, so that those don't go into our apples. There we go, good job.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, do a little bit more. Oh, there you go. Look, those muscles. Is that from the spinach in your smoothie? It made it nice and strong. All right. Oh, we got that one everywhere. Okay, I think that's good. Now let's add in some cinnamon. You love cinnamon, don't you?
Yep.
Here. All right, I'm gonna hold it.
Are we making
We'll hold it
cinnamon
together.
apples?
Yeah, we're making cinnamon apples. All right, there we go. Yeah, tell them about cinnamon apples.
Cinnamon apples are so good. I always eat them.
Okay, so we're gonna put these on the stovetop. I'm just gonna saute them just until they're nice and soft. So I'll probably cook them down for about 15 minutes or so. It's just gonna vary. I'm gonna do it on like a medium-low temperature. Okay, so while our apples are cooking up, I want to talk a little bit about another pillar, which is avoiding risky substances. So while typically we don't have to worry about our 6-year-olds doing recreational drugs or smoking cigarettes and things like that, this is a time that we can start talking to them and helping them to form ideas about these things so that whenever they are presented with the opportunity to partake in them in the future, they are more likely to say no. So if Jackson sees somebody smoking a cigarette or he smells cigarette smoke and asks about it, I use that as an opportunity to explain what a cigarette is and tell him about the negative effects it's going to have on his body, that it's going to cause his heart and his lungs to be weaker and is going to cause him to get sick whenever he gets older. So by hearing that from a young age, he's more understanding, and so he's less likely to do those things. Of course, if you have an older child, 13, 14, or 15, you can talk about these in another way. I relate really well to the younger children because that's what I have right now. Obviously, Quinn, that's not something we discuss with her, but it will be in the future. So just kind of gauge your child's level of understanding and level of exposure to these things whenever you're considering talking to them. Okay, so another pillar is going to be sleep. The amount of sleep your child needs is going to vary by age, but in general, children need about 9 to 12 hours of sleep per day. If they are still getting naps, then that's going to reduce their nighttime sleep just a little bit. But for example, Jackson does not take a nap any longer. So he goes to bed about 8:30 p.m. and he wakes up at about 7 a.m. Sometimes it's a little bit earlier than that, but in general, that's what he wakes up. So it is important when dealing with your children and their sleep routines to maintain a routine throughout the day. So, for example, on the weekends, my children are keeping their same schedules that they're keeping during the week on the weekends. And that includes activities like getting dressed and all of those kinds of things. So they wake up and we get them dressed for the day and get them prepared for the day just like we would if we were going off to work and they were going off to school. I find that maintaining that routine throughout the day really sets them up to be ready for bed because they know what to expect. So also you want to do things like avoiding caffeine. Children really shouldn't have caffeine at all anyway, but you definitely want to not give it to them in the afternoon. But ideally, don't give it to them at all. Caffeine is not something that children need. They need to get at least 1 hour of physical activity a day, and in our next pillar of physical activity, we will talk about how to get that. But it is important to make sure that your child is getting lots of activity and using their energy that they're gaining through their food and getting it out through the activity. You want to avoid screens at least 1 hour before bed. This applies to you too. Screens and all of the blue lights and everything can help to stimulate the brain and to turn off those signals telling you to go to bed. No screens in the bedroom, so no TV, things like that. You want to have a calm, quiet, and cool room. Jackson and actually all my children sleep really well with a sound machine. So they like to have that nice white noise in the background to help them go to sleep. They don't like it if it's too quiet. Some people are the opposite. But you don't really want the noise of a TV or a radio or anything like that going in the background. Make it a nice dark room. We have blackout curtains in all of our rooms so that, especially in the summer months, whenever they're going to bed and it's still light outside, they're able to fully get into that sleep mode because it is dark in their room. So another thing would be to go to sleep and wake up at the same time. Like I said earlier, we like to keep our kids on the same routine. It really helps their brains be with the consistency. They know this is bedtime. This is the same routine. Every night we eat dinner, we go take a bath, we have our playtime, and then we get ready for bed. It's the same whether it's Monday, it's the same whether it's Saturday. So children really thrive on routines, and your body thrives on routines as well. So with that being said, if you have any questions about sleep, you can call us at 221-LIFE and we can help you with that. Okay, so that brings us to our next pillar, and that is social relationships. So with our young children, their main relationships are going to be with their parents, but it's important that we help give them the skills to form bonds with everybody that they're going to be in contact with in their life. So some of these important skills to develop are sharing things, expressing their feelings, showing gratitude to themselves and other people, and then respecting personal space of others and respecting other people's things, making eye contact while talking, and providing positive reinforcement whenever they are doing these skills and explaining to them why it is important that they do these things. But the first thing you can do to work on social relationships with your children is to form a strong family bond. Strong family bond is something that's very important to us. We make sure that no matter what's going on, we're eating dinner together at the table each night. Getting ready for baths and bedtime routines is a family activity. Playing upstairs, that's a family activity. We do everything as a family unit whenever we are together. My husband and I both work full-time out of the home. My kids are in daycare and in school. Can you stand up here? And they are away from us a lot during the day, so we make sure that the time that we have as a family is quality time and that we are fully engaged with one another. So like I said, some tips would be eating food together at the table, and making that a routine. Making sure that you are present for things that are important in their life. Jackson has baseball practice, and we try to make sure that even though it would be easier for my husband and I to divide and conquer, to take the younger kids home, get dinner ready while he's at practice or at a game, we try to make sure that we are both there. It is a little bit of an inconvenience. It does throw off things a little bit, but he knows that both parents are there supporting him and are there for him, so that makes him feel a nice, strong, bonding connection. That's not always possible, but when it is, we try to make sure that we are doing those types of things. Children thrive whenever they feel secure, so just working to make sure that they know that they're loved, they know that they're appreciated, and they know that they are the most important things in your life. We express that to them daily so that they are very secure with our relationship with them. Do you know, Mommy, that I love you? So once again, they mimic our behaviors, so we can be showing them one thing, but if we're acting another way towards other people, maybe we come home and we're talking ill of our coworkers or people that we're friends with or things like that. They're seeing those things and they're reading those cues of the relationships that we have with other people, and they're going to use that to to build their relationships in their future. So just make sure that you're being mindful of things like that. Okay. So that brings us to our next pillar of physical activity, the one that Jackson likes the most. Can I have that, please? So what are some things that you like to do for physical activity?
By playing basketball, playing baseball, riding my bike, and riding my scooter.
Yes.
In the house.
Yeah. And so we like to find ways for our children to get physical activity that they don't always know that they're getting physical activity. For example, we were at the park last night and Jackson had just finished playing baseball, and we have a fence that is about 1/4 mile away. And so if I told him, hey, Jackson, run to that fence and back, he'd be like, oh, I just practiced baseball, I don't want to do that. But instead, I was like, hey, Jackson, you want to race to that fence and see who can get there the fastest and then who can get back the fastest? And he was very excited to do that because it was a game with Mom. So he was getting a little bit of extra physical activity and getting that heart pumping, and he didn't even know it. And who won?
I did.
He beat me.
Yeah, because when I first was starting, I actually went faster, and then I started jogging, and then you were just kept on jogging.
I just kept jogging the whole time, huh?
Yeah.
I never had that fast burst like you did.
Yeah, I just burst it like let it wreck like a battle blade.
So Go Noodle is a good online program. We have an app on our Apple TV. I think you can get it other places as well. But it has a lot of songs and dances that kids can copy. Jackson likes to make up his own moves, but this is a good way for them to get some activity in. Jackson likes riding his bike while I run. I find that he enjoys running, but he is not able to go far distances. So we're able to get in more activity if he rides his bike while I run. Jackson's already been eating these before we turn the camera on, but I'll let him try some for the camera. Is that good? So a little thing about these apples, you can also blend them up and turn them into a nice unsweetened applesauce, which is really nice. I put it into pouches for my daughter a lot of the time, or we just keep it in the refrigerator. So you could even, after you blend it up, freeze it in an ice cube tray and use it to flavor oatmeal in the mornings as well. All right, I'll let you finish eating that. Our pillar stress management is very important for children. Adults tend to forget that children have stressors too, so it's important to find ways for them to relieve these stresses. We are going to show you some of the yoga that the boys like to practice, and we're going to talk a little bit about their journaling. So we'll do that right now. So Jackson is starting to learn to write and to read, but for the most part we just talk about what he's feeling. So we may ask him, what are 5 things that you're grateful for today? Or what are 5 things that went well today? Things that made you happy? What made you feel sad? So it just kind of helps him to reflect back on his day and what he was feeling. So depending on the age of your child, you can talk about these things or you can journal. Let's do this. Maddox, can you get on your knees like this?
Ah, the grass is pointy.
I know. And then can you just stretch up, look up, come back, come back, and do this.
The grass is so pointy.
Thank you so much for joining us for our video today on lifestyle medicine for children. This was just a very basic informational session. There's so much more that we want to share with you regarding this topic. Prevention is very important to us, and we would much rather be able to impact you and your children at this stage of prevention and forming habits rather than trying to reverse and break those habits later. So please stay tuned for more videos from us regarding children. We have a spooky Halloween treats for children coming up in mid-October, so that one will be fun for your kids as well. We're going to be making lots of different treats that are healthier rather than all of the candy that's just filled with sugar. So we really hope that you find the informational pamphlets and brochures that we post this week on our Facebook page helpful. If you don't have Facebook and you're seeing this video and you want to get those or get that information, you can call 221 Life and we can email those to you, or we can make them available for you to pick up in our center. We are so excited about the future of our center and the things that we have to offer, and so we cannot wait to help you guys. My little buddy Jackson wanted to say thank you for watching our video and tell everybody bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Don't forget to call 221 Life if you have any questions.